Laurel Mitchell, or Laurel Mitchell, it's probably the better way to say that, and Matthew Helms. And I'm not sure if I said this correctly. Is it Blazik?
Yes.
All right. Good afternoon to you, Ms. Blazik. You are eligible for a deferred prosecution. It's the same conditions that I've been describing to others. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that or not?
Yes, I'll accept it.
Do you have any questions for me before I make this a court order? Can you pay that $100 deferred prosecution fee?
Yes.
I am going to make this an order of the court. What should be the first thing that you do when you finish up with this court appearance today as far as the class goes?
I should sign up for the class.
Yes, please get signed up for it right away. I want everybody to get signed up quickly so you can get your case dismissed and you're not running into a problem as far as timing goes, things of that nature. The longer you wait, the more difficult it can be to get into the class by the deadline that we set for you. Okay, let's turn to Maddox Jacobs. Hello, Mr. Jacobs. You also have a deferred prosecution available in your case. Nick's going to pull that up for me. For the 6-month term, exact same as the others that I've described. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that?
Yes, I would like to accept it.
Okay. And you pay the $100 fee today. All right. And any questions for me? Okay, I'm going to make this an order of the court. And we will turn to the next defendant, Isabella Smith. Hello, Ms. Smith. Nick, you're doing these because you're probably trying to enter some data. I can do it. You can catch up with the other stuff while I've got Ms. Smith's deferred prosecution offer up here. It's the same as the other individuals. Ms. Smith, have you decided whether you'd like to accept that?
No, I would not like to.
Okay. A couple different ways to proceed. If you want to, one way that you could proceed is simply plead not guilty and set the case for trial. If you'd like to come back on a date when you can talk to a prosecutor about your case, you could do that as well. Or you could plead guilty to the charges, but I wouldn't recommend that if you have a deferred prosecution. It doesn't make sense to plead guilty. What would you like to do?
I'd like to not be guilty.
All right. And do you want to set it over for trial, or how do you want to proceed?
I'd like to set it for trial.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and take the not guilty plea now to both the charges. There are 2 charges pending. One is possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21, and the other is possession of marijuana by someone under the age of 21. I'll pull up the summons and I'll take the not guilty pleas. And I want to just confirm before I set your trial date, you don't want to talk to a prosecutor before you set it for trial.
No.
Okay. Count 1 is a charge of possession of marijuana by someone under the age of, possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21, which is a violation of section 574 of the Boulder Revised Code. This allegedly occurred at 530th Street on November 2nd of 2025. How do you plead to that charge?
Not guilty.
I'll enter that not guilty plea. Count 2 is a charge of possession of marijuana by someone under the age of 21. That's a violation of section 510.4 of the Boulder Revised Code, also allegedly occurring at 530th Street on November 2nd of 2025. How do you plead to that charge?
Not guilty.
All right, I've entered those 2 not guilty pleas. You have a right to a trial in front of a judge, which would be either me or Judge Hill, likely our other judge, or you could demand a jury trial. You have 21 days from today's date to request a jury trial if you'd prefer to have a jury trial. And you'd be required to pay the $25 jury fee if that's what you decide to do. If you're comfortable with having a trial in front of a judge, I'll just send you out front. They'll get you that trial date now. Are you ready to do that next step?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just send you out front. They're going to give you a couple of different dates for trial. I'll share with you just a little bit about the process. At trial, people can represent themselves. They can also hire lawyers if they choose to do so. They're not required to, but just keep in mind that anybody who's representing themselves is going to be held to the same standard as a lawyer would be, meaning that you have to understand the rules of evidence. You're subject to the rules of evidence for the Colorado rules. You're subject to the rules of procedure that apply. So make sure that if you are going to be at trial, that you're prepared. You'll have the right to call witnesses if you choose to do so, to testify if you choose to do so. You have the right to remain silent, so you can't be forced to testify if you don't want to testify. And you will have a chance to cross-examine all of the witnesses that are presented by the prosecution. A trial of the court usually takes a couple of hours, so you should anticipate being here for a couple of hours when you come for your trial day. Do you have any questions for me before we send you out front?
No, I do not.
All right, then I'll send you out front. They'll get you that trial date in just a few minutes. All right, thank you. Just to the right when you're exiting. And then let's turn to Laurel Mitchell. Hello, Miss Mitchell. Nick's going to pull up your offer. It is a deferred prosecution that has been made available to you. And that is to the charge of possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that offer?
So I'd like to accept.
All right. Do you have any questions about how it works?
I do not.
And can you pay that $100 fee today? All right. I'm going to make that an order of the court then. And then we'll call one more case and send you all back as a group. Matthew Helms. Hello, Mr. Helms. And Mr. Helms, let me pull up your case. And you are eligible for a deferred prosecution. In your case, it will be the same conditions as the others that I've described. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept it?
Yes, please.
Do you have any questions for me? And can you pay that $100 fee today? I'm going to make this an order of the court for a 6-month deferred prosecution. We will send you back to meet with our probation officer, all of you as a group. So when you leave the courtroom here, you're going to turn right and then right again. You'll make a left to the end of the hallway and they'll be with you in just a few minutes. All right, thank you all. And Mr. Banks is appearing by Zoom video. So we'll start with you, Mr. Banks. Now, Mr. Banks, you are eligible for a deferred prosecution for your charge. It's possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that or not?
I would like to accept.
Okay. Do you have any questions about how this process works?
Just that I don't go to see you, that's all.
Thank you for sharing that. And we'll put a note here so it's clear for our staff that that's the case. And I am going to make this an order of the court. And then what we'll have you do is just keep an eye on your screen. You're going to get an invitation to join a breakout room with one of our probation staff members so they can go over all of this with you. So just hang tight and look for that. When it's your turn to speak with one of them, you'll get that invitation. Okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Banks. And then let's, Ryan Morgenstein. Is it Morgenstein?
It's Morgenstein.
Morgenstein. All right. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Morgenstein. And next, pulling up the offer for you, which is a deferred prosecution for a 6-month term. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that?
I accept.
All right. Do you have any questions about how this process works?
How much was the sign up for the class again?
So the class, I believe it depends on the level that it's chosen for you. They're usually $140 is my memory of those classes. So the $100 fee you pay to us, and then the fee that you have to pay for the folks who put on the classes paid through the university, and it actually gets added onto your bill unless you pay them directly when you go for the class. So that's typically how it works. And I think it's $140. If you need to know that before you commit to it, we could find that out. I could have our Fernanda weigh in, and I don't know if she's hearing me right now, but one of them could look it up on the sheets that they have.
I don't need it. I can just figure it out.
Okay, you're comfortable with taking the chance on what it's going to cost?
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions that you have?
No.
Okay. I am going to make this an order of the court then. It's for the 6-month term. And then if you'll just hang tight, we'll send you back as a group here in just a moment. Caitlin, is it Oriker?
Yeah, Oregon.
All right, Ms. Oriker, good afternoon to you. You have a charge of possession of alcohol by a minor. Nick's going to pull up your case. And you do have a deferred prosecution offer in the file. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that or not?
Yes, I'd like to accept.
Okay. Do you have any questions for me? I am going to make this an order of the court. We'll have you just hang tight for a moment while we call the other cases. Dawson Bomers.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hello, Mr. Bomers. You have a charge of possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21. I'm going to pull up your file real quick and see what it looks like. I've got this one. What was the last name, please? Bomers. Thank you. And sir, you are eligible for a deferred prosecution. It would be for a 6-month term. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd like to accept.
All right. Do you have any questions for me before I make this a court order?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Can you pay that $100 fee today?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to make this an order of the court for the deferred prosecution. We'll have our staff determine the class for you to complete. And then we'll turn to the last one in this group, Martina Stanton Guevara. Am I saying your last name correctly?
Yeah.
All right, Ms. Stanton Guevara, let me pull up your case. You do have a deferred prosecution offer in the file from the prosecutor's office. Just the same as the others that I've discussed, it would be possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21. That would be the case charge, which will be stayed for the period of the deferred. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that? Okay, can you pay the $100 fee today?
Yep.
Any questions about the process? Okay. We'll make that an order of the court. All right, so for all of you, I'm going to send you back to probation. You're going to make 2 right turns, which will take you behind this wall, and then a left to the end of the hallway, and then probation will be with you in just a few minutes. All right, thank you all. Devin Carta and Abigail, is it Godber? Godber. And we will start with Harper Freach. All right, good afternoon to you, Ms. Freach. Ms. Freach, you are eligible for a deferred prosecution to the charge of possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that?
I would like to accept.
Okay, can you pay that $100 fee today?
Yes.
Any questions about how this process works? I'm going to make this an order of the court. And then I will stress for the group here again, get yourself signed up as soon as you can so that you're not in a situation where you don't sign up. Fernanda's giving you a deadline and now you're trying to get it scheduled. And the only date that you can schedule is on a final or a midterm next semester, something like that. You don't want to be in that position. So just get yourself signed up right away so you have plenty of time to get the class completed. And I will turn to Ms. Pignotti. Ms. Pignotti, you'll be next. You have a charge of possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21. Nick's going to pull that up and see what we have. You do have a deferred prosecution that's been made available to you. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that?
Yeah, I accept.
Any questions before we go forward?
No.
All right. And can you pay the $100 fee today?
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and make this an order of the court for a deferred prosecution for a 6-month term. And we'll have our probation staff determine the class for you to complete. And let's turn to Emily. Am I saying it correctly? Is it Formis?
It's forms.
Formis?
Forms.
Forms. Okay, just so almost like the E is silent.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Forms. You have a charge of possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21. I can go ahead and pull that up just to double check what we've got. And you are eligible for a deferred prosecution. Just like everyone else that I've been describing it to, would be for a 6-month term. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that?
But
All right. Do you have any questions for me?
no, sir.
And can you pay that $100 fee today?
Yes, sir.
I am going to make this an order of the court for a 6-month term.
It looks like there's some extra fees.
Oh, thank you for that, Nick. Okay, we'll take a quick look. It may be that you missed your first court date, so there may have been some fees associated with that. So when you were supposed to be in court, it looks like in November, on November 5th, maybe late October, you were expected to be in court. What happened with that court date? Because we had to issue a warrant. When you
Yeah,
got
it was
to-
October 28th.
Yes.
At 12:45, and I lost my paper, and I didn't know when it was. But the second that I found out when it was, I handled it, and I came.
Okay, so did you get a text from us that said, hey, you missed court? Is that how it worked?
No, I didn't. I just looked, and then I called the courthouse.
I see. Okay. Because it looks like it was the October 28th. We wait a week before we do anything and issue warrants, but we did issue a warrant and then we canceled that a couple of days later. So you must have called. Did you call or come down?
Yes, I called, and then I also came in.
Okay. All right. There were $80 in fees that were initiated because of the failure to appear. I'm going to charge you just the $50 warrant fee and waive the failure to appear fee. So you'll have $150 to pay. But I'll waive the FTA fee so that we don't have too much penalty. The warrants have now been canceled. I will just point out to you, because a warrant goes into a database, you'll still end up with that not on your criminal history. But when your record gets sealed, we'll have to also seal the record for the Colorado Bureau of Investigation because they maintain that database. So you may hear from our probation staff because they charge a fee. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation charges a fee to seal your record with them. So you'll still earn the dismissal. It'll seal your record here. It'll seal your record of the police department. And then we'll also be notifying Colorado Bureau of Investigation to seal your record there, but they may contact you and say, hey, we got to charge you a fee for that.
Okay.
I just wanted you to be aware of that. All right. And then let's call Devin Carta next. Hello, Mr. Carta. And Mr. Carta, you have a charge of possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21. You are eligible for the deferred prosecution. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that?
Yes, I accept.
Do you have any questions about how the process works?
No.
And can you pay the $100 fee today?
Yeah.
I'm going to make this an order of the court. It will be for a deferred prosecution for the 6-month term. And then we'll turn to the last case for this group, which would be Abigail Godber. Ms. Godber, down there, hello to you. I'll pull that one up if you want, Nick. And Ms. Godber, you are eligible for the deferred prosecution. It would be for a 6-month term, same conditions as others that I've described. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that?
Yes, I would.
All right. Do you have any questions before I make this a court order?
No.
I will make this an order of the court. It's for a 6-month deferred prosecution. You'll be expected to complete the class that's ordered by probation. And I'm going to send all of you down to meet with probation now. So you'll take 2 rights and a left to the end of that hallway. They'll be with you in just a few minutes. Thank you all. And we will start with Ms. Villarreal. That must be you.
Yes.
Hello, Ms. Villarreal. And you are under 18. Are you still under 18?
Yes, I'm a junior in high school.
All right. Is a parent here with you?
Yeah, right there.
Okay, good. Want to make sure we've got that apparent here. So Ms. Villarreal, the charge for you is a charge of possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21. Just like the others, you're eligible for a deferred prosecution. We would not be sending you to a class that's put on by CU, obviously. You would be expected to complete the online class that's offered for people, but still a deferred prosecution. You're eligible to accept that. I have to make sure that if you decide you want to accept it, that your dad says okay to that as well. But have you decided whether you want to accept that?
Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to accept.
Do you have any questions about how it works?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, are you in approval with that?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Okay, Ms. Villarreal, so we are going to make this an order of the court. There's a $100 deferred prosecution fee. Are you going to be able to pay that today?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to go ahead and make this an order of the court. I'll put a note here that you're not a CU student. So we send you to the right class, and then we'll turn to the next defendant. And that would be Lauren Johnson. Hello, Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson, you are eligible for deferred prosecution to your charge of being a minor in possession of alcohol. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that? Do you have any questions for me? And can you pay that $100 fee today? But I am going to make this an order of the court for the deferred prosecution. I'll just point out to the group, make sure that if you do hear from CU, if you are a CU student, that you remember what class you've been ordered to complete for us, and you share with them what that class was so that they can hopefully order you to the same class. And then we will turn to Logan Fenninger. All right, am I saying your name correctly?
Yes.
All right. Good afternoon. And Nick's pulling up your case. You are eligible for a deferred prosecution. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that? Any questions about how this process works? And can you pay that $100 deferred prosecution? I'm going to go ahead and make this an order of the court. It's for a 6-month deferred prosecution. And then we'll turn to the next defendant, who is Audrey Max. Hello, Ms. Max. And Ms. Max, you are eligible for a deferred prosecution as well. I'll pull that up and confirm it. And it is for the 6-month term. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that?
I'd like to accept.
Do you have any questions for me?
I'm not a CU student.
All right, thank you for sharing that with me. Can you pay that $100 deferred prosecution fee?
Yes, sir.
All right. And it looks like you're under the age of 18. It looks like I could see your dad in between people here. Is it okay with you for her to accept that offer? All right, so we'll make that an order of the court. It's for a 6-month term, and I'll put here the information so our staff can get. Marlo, is it Henninger? Henninger. Okay, Ms. Henninger is here. You are also eligible for a deferred prosecution, Ms. Henninger, and it is for the 6-month term. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that?
I would like to accept.
Okay, and any questions for me?
No, thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and make this an order of the court. Can you pay that $100 deferred prosecution fee today? All right, I'll make that an order of the court. That's the last for this group. So we'll send all 5 of you back to meet with probation, 2 rights and a left to the end of the hallway. Parents, obviously you can go with your children. They're not really children at this point, but you're young people down the hall there, and they'll meet with you in just a few moments. All right, thank you all.
Thank you.
And I've got one young person. Are you here just observing, or what's your last name and first name? Clara Thomas. Okay, why don't you come on forward, Ms. Thomas? I believe everyone else is here with the people I've just called. So let's call Ms. Seibel first. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, you are.
All right, Ms. Seibel, you have a charge of possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21, and you are eligible for a deferred prosecution. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that or not?
I wanted to ask about the amnesty policy. I was not the one who called on myself, and it was for health concerns.
So someone else called on your behalf.
Yeah.
So you probably heard me with that other young person. I try not to practice law as a judge and to give legal advice to people because I'm supposed to stay out of the business of doing that. I'm more than happy if you'd like to continue over so that you could consult with an attorney or look at the statute yourself and determine whether you're eligible to have the case dismissed by the prosecutors, or we could schedule you for a meeting with one of the prosecutors. You could do that. Or you can accept the offer today. So it's really entirely up to you. So what would you like to do?
I would like to continue.
Want to continue over to another date? That's fine with me. And we're going to schedule you for what's called a dispo and trial setting date. I'm going to make that 2 to 4 weeks out. I'm going to let you appear either in person or by Zoom once you've been in court one time. I don't need to have you in person for the next visit. On that table, there's some cards, business cards for the prosecutors. I would suggest you grab one of those. You could give them a call once your case gets reset to another court date. You could call them and have a conversation with them before you come to court, at least letting them know what your situation is. That way they can let you know in advance whether they'd be willing to dismiss the charge. If they decided to dismiss the charge, they could do so without you even having to be here, and you might not have to come back to court. I can't guarantee they'll do that. I'm not even sure that they would, given what you've described. But I always tell people that so that they're aware of it. So I would suggest grabbing one of their cards, and then we're going to send you out front so that you can get that new
I'll
court
give
date.
her a new court date because they're probably really big.
Oh, you can do that right now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks,
If you
Dave.
want to have a seat, I'll give you a new court date in about 5 minutes or so.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, just go ahead and have a seat then, Ms. Seibel, and then grab one of those cards so that you can communicate with the folks in the prosecutor's office.
Thank you.
All right. And then we'll call Victor. Is it Conquerat?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good afternoon to you, sir. That's with a K. And you're under the age of 18, it looks like. Is that correct? You've got a parent, your dad's here with you. Great. All right, Mr. Conquerat, you are eligible for a deferred prosecution to this charge of possession of alcohol by someone under the age of 21. So you do have that option available to you. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that?
Accept that.
All right. And is that okay with your parents? All right. We'll go ahead and make that an order of the court then. Can you pay that $100 deferred prosecution fee today? Do you have any questions for me? So just be patient. We'll send you back here in just a few moments. The next case would be Cameron Isom. Am I saying your last name correctly?
It's Isom, sir.
Isom. Thank you, Mr. Isom. And let me pull that case up and we'll go over it with you. You do have a deferred prosecution offer in the file, Mr. Isom. It would be for a 6-month term. Have you decided whether you'd like to accept that?
No, I would like to look for a medical amnesty.
So do you want to reset your case to come back on another date?
Yes, please.
All right. We'll do the same with your case as we did with this young woman just a moment ago with Ms. Seibel. We'll reset you. We'll about 2 to 4 weeks out. I'll authorize Zoom. So if you want to appear by Zoom video instead of coming into court, you can do that. And then why don't you just go ahead and have a seat? Nick's going to get you that new court date. I would suggest grabbing one of those prosecutor's cards as well so that you can touch base with them and make sure you have your case number information. So when you get the setting notice, it'll be on you'll have that case number there. When you're communicating with them, that'll be the easiest way for them to find your file and read the reports about it. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. William Gant.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Good afternoon to you, Mr. Gant. A slightly different charge for you. It's a charge of having a fraudulent identification. So let me pull that case up and see what we've got here. Yes, so we got you grouped in slightly different here, but it's a deferred judgment that you've been offered, which is what they typically do for fraudulent identification charges. It's not quite the same approach as they have for people who have a minor in possession of alcohol charge. So what they would want you to do is plead guilty to the charge and your case would stay open for 9 months. You heard me do that with the first 2 people I spoke to today, accepting guilty pleas from them, and then the case stays open. So slightly different approach from the prosecutors is they would want a guilty plea, and then they would want more than just going to one class. They'd want you to complete the CU Restorative Justice Fake ID program, the CU Community Living class, and 4 hours of community service. Now, because you got grouped with this in this group, you have not even heard about what the CU Restorative Justice Program is all about. Ordinarily, we have people come in on our docket when we have people from CURJ who are here to describe that to you. One of our probation officers can describe it to you, but I would want you to know a little more before you said, yeah, I'm going to do that, because it's more involved. It's not the same as just going to a quick class and being done. You'd have an agreement that you'd have to reach and a few other things.
The officer told me that she didn't file with the school, but she told me she didn't want to do that.
She may not have, but you would still be required to complete CURJ as part of this agreement. So I want you to be aware of that. With that?
I'm pretty confused.
Okay, let me make sure you understand. So you got a ticket. The officer issued you a ticket for having a fraudulent identification. The officer gave you a court date for 12:45 today. Shouldn't have given you 12:45 because that's our MIP docket. You should have been ordered to come at 8:30 when we had CU Restorative Justice people here to explain. If you had been here then, and that's not your fault, that's just what happened with your case, is the officer gave you the wrong time. But if you'd been here, they would have been able to describe it. And you would have probably seen a group of people with fake ID charges being required to do exactly with what you're being asked to do in your case. It wouldn't have been kind of an anomaly where you're standing out from what everybody else is getting offered. So it can seem a little odd because you're seeing everyone else, but your charge is different. You were allegedly holding an identification which was not yours. And so that's a little bit odd, and I'm not sure why it got filed as an MIP arraignment. It should not have been, but that was the officer.
He didn't receive a letter. We sent him a letter.
We did send a letter, but to try to change your date, but the officer got it started on the wrong foot by choosing the wrong date. So we can do a couple of things. If you want to meet with one of our staff members and learn a little bit more about CU restorative justice, we can do that. We could even ping a prosecutor to come in and talk to you about it. I think they said earlier that they might have someone available that could talk to them either in person or by Teams. So if you wanted to learn a little bit more about it, because they're asking for more than just a quick class. They're asking for you to complete CU restorative justice, the CU community living class, and 4 hours of community service. So that's more work on your end to earn a dismissal. Ultimately, you would get your case dismissed if you did those things. But they are asking for more than they would ask if it was just an MIP alcohol charge. Yeah. So a couple of different ways to proceed. If you wanted to continue and come back on another date when you could talk to a prosecutor, if you'd like to wait a few minutes and see if we could get a prosecutor to come in and discuss the case with you, they could do that. You want to do that? All right. So let's see if we can get a prosecutor to come in and describe this for you. It can be a little bit off-putting when you're like, oh, how come everybody else has the same offer? Like I said, I think if you'd have been sitting in the 8:30 docket and you had seen everybody else that got fake ID charges, then it wouldn't feel so odd for you to be singled out in the way that it feels that you're being singled out right now.
I understand.
Yeah. But if you want to talk to a prosecutor first and have a conversation before you decide whether to accept, I think that's a good idea because there is quite a bit involved with CU restorative justice, and I want people to know what they're agreeing to before they make an agreement.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so why don't you just have a seat? We'll let them know when they come in, and if it's by Zoom, then we'll move him to a private area where he can have a conversation. You're welcome. And I'll hold that one aside for a moment. And then the last person is Clara Thomas. Ms. Thomas, you are here. And you do have a possession of alcohol by a minor charge. You are eligible for the deferred prosecution in your case. Have you thought about whether you'd like to accept that? Okay. Do you have any questions for me?
Right.
Right. Can you pay that $100 deferred prosecution fee? I am going to make that an order of the court. And then I'm going to send just you and Mr. Conquerot back to meet with our probation staff. So you folks and parent can certainly go with. You're going to make 2 rights and then a left at the end of the hallway. Our probation staff will be with you in just a few moments to go over all of this with you and then get you on your way.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Why don't you bring that forward, Ms. Smith? I'll take a quick look at it here. Let's go back on the record here, Nick. So I've got the file for Isabella Smith. Ms. Smith does qualify for the public defender. So Ms. Smith, why don't you come on forward? So you're employed, but you only make about $600 a month. Is that accurate? Okay, so you do qualify for the public defender. So we had originally taken not guilty pleas. We're going to withdraw those not guilty pleas. And the reason is we're not going to enter any pleas. The public defender needs to meet with you before she can determine whether to set for trial or whether she wants a jury trial. So we're going to reschedule you to come back on a date when she's here. You'll have a conversation with her. And then she can talk to the prosecutor on your behalf. If she can convince them to dismiss the case, you won't even have a trial. If it turns out that you're going to have a trial, then she can decide whether to be a trial in front of a judge or a jury. Does that make sense? Okay, so you're not losing your right to have a trial, but I'm protecting your right to have a jury trial because she only has 21 days from the date that you enter a not guilty plea to request that jury trial. And we're going to be setting you off for a date in December, and then she would lose the opportunity to do that. So we'll withdraw the not guilty pleas.
Okay.
No pleas will enter. And then we're going to reset you for our public defender. And that's on December 9th at 9:30 in the morning. Let me just double check that I've got that date right, but I'm pretty sure that's the right one. Yep. So our public defender comes in at 9:30 on the 9th of December. Ms. Talim will be here that day. And then we're going to give you a setting notice. Do we want to do that in here?
Do a great job.
So Nick's going to give you a setting notice for that court date. And then I think we put these up in a judge's notes, I think is where we put them, so they don't end up being a public record, the
Okay.
applications. So that can be scanned in there.
Okay.
All right. Any questions for me?
No.
Okay, so we'll see you back on the 9th of December.
Okay, thank you.
Have a seat. It'll be just a couple minutes. I'll give you a setting sheet.